Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero in X-Force, and this is my DC and Marvel pull list for the week of July 6th, 2011, and today is the 7th, a Thursday. Okay, so first up is my one and only DC for the week, and that is Batman and Robin number 25. First off, I want to say this has been a great run. It's been really fun to see the three sons of Bruce Wayne, Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson as Batman, and the Red Hood, which of course is Jason Todd. Now, Jason Todd is a character I've always liked, and even when he was a full-on bad guy, I always kind of saw his side of it. And for those of you who've seen the Under the Hood, Batman Under the Hood, which is the animated movie about Jason Todd, that's one of my favorite animated movies. So this particular Jason Todd is the same Jason Todd, except for some reason they have put him in this absolutely dreadful costume. I think, like most of you, I really enjoy, his black leather jacket and his motorcycle red helmet type mask. That is Jason Todd. This, for some reason, looks very retro. I don't even know why they decided to do it. But with that being the only complaint, it's been a very good run. I believe this is the last issue in that run. So yes, it's been good, but I just wish they would have gone to his main costume, the one that is beloved by all, and not this terrible retro, strange, Red Hood costume, especially his big bullet tube helmet that right here Damian Wayne is smashing, and I'm glad of that because it looked awful. But with that said, it's been really good and I'm looking forward to this. Alright, next up are my Marvels, and first it's the Fear Itself Uncanny X-Force tie-in. It's a limited series. It's going to be 3 issues. This is one of 3. It's actually kind of hard to find. There are a few limited runs that are, side stories to Fear Itself that are hard to get, and I think this is one of them. So if you're interested in this story, you'll want to ask your comic book store to put it on in your saver, or get them online in advance. But with that said, I've peeked in this, and wow, it looks great. This particular cover, I saw the artwork for this a while ago, and it was one of my favorites. Like, kind of apocalyptic, type looks. It really kind of shows a great piece of artwork involving the X-Force characters, and I was curious which comic or which issue I thought this was going to be the cover for, and then it seems to fit here perfectly, not in the ongoing series, but in this side limited run. So the artwork is very good inside too. Okay, next up is another ongoing comic that I've been enjoying, as any of you have been watching my posts know, and that is X-23, and this is number 12. I would like to mention just right off the bat, for those of you who have been picking up comics, when Green Lantern came out, all the DC comics had that huge bar up the top, and it was absolutely distracting from the beautiful artwork that was on the covers, and it was on absolutely everything. So even though I prefer DC for the most part, I do like the way that Marvel does their movie advertising for their superhero movies and stuff, because it's always something small, something noticeable. It's a little stamp up here in the corner. It's a really cool picture of Steve Rogers' Captain America, the first Avenger movie that's coming out soon. And this is all you need. It's like a stamp. It's right there. You notice it. You see the date the movie's coming out. It's a very attractive picture, and it doesn't take away from the cover of art. But that Green Lantern one, it was just way too distracting. It ruined what would have been a great month of covers for DC. But with that said, let's get back to the comic. X-23 has been very good, and this particular run involving, of course, Gambit's been in the last couple runs. Actually, he's been here almost from the beginning. And but this one has also involved Wolverine and Jubilee, Vampire Jubilee. It's been very good. It's been one of my favorite runs on the series so far, mostly because of the beautiful artwork, good storytelling, and the interaction between these four characters. It's been really good. I would like to note that any of you who have read Curse of the Mutants, that first story arc in the newest X-Men ongoing series, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think a lot of people did. This story arc is really a must-read if you like that. It's truly the aftermath of Jubilee and she being a vampire now, and it really addresses a lot of things that I was wondering after the end of that Curse of the Mutants run on X-Men, and because of that, I would consider this a must-read run for those of you who want to know what happens with Jubilee after that. All right. Next up is Thunderbolts, Fear Itself. Number 106. Now, it's a little confusing. You have the main series of Fear Itself, and then you have a lot of the ongoing comics like Avengers and here Thunderbolts, that their regular ongoing numbering is the Fear Itself. But then you have ones like the one I just showed you, which is X-Force, which is not the regular numbering ongoing. It's actually a side story limited series. So I'm not sure why Marvel's doing it that way, why they're just not either doing all of them limited series on the side or doing all of them, involved in the ongoings. I'm not sure why you would mix it up like that. It's a little confusing, but I've been very much enjoying Thunderbolts. I'm kind of new to it. I jumped on recently, but I got just a huge amount of back issues. I haven't even read all the back issues yet. I got them off eBay. I got a really good deal. They're all in mint condition, unread, or for most of them unread anyway. And I kind of started with the current team, which is like when Luke Cage took over the team and put the new team together with Juggernaut and everyone. It's the whole the New Age start. That's where I started reading, but I have back issues all the way back. I think like 2-3 years. So I will be reading those eventually, but for now I'm just gonna get caught up and where we're at now. So far I've been loving it. Of course, like with the last Fear Itself, Thunderbolts, which was 159. Obviously, this is a very big comic for those of you who are reading Fear Itself because Juggernaut is on this team. So it was a really good issue last time. So yes, looking forward to that. Okay, next up is I've mentioned this before, but this is Hulk, and this is a new ongoing story arc after the end of Planet Red Hulk, which was only a 2-issue story run. And I was going to drop it, and I still might, because, I'm taking less Marvel, and I'm going to be adding more DC because the whole relaunch, but because this is the only Hulk comic out there, because the Incredible Hulk is ending soon, and I do like Red Hulk, like I mentioned before. So I was on the fence, but I actually opened this up when I was in a comic book store, and wow, it was just, I really liked where this story was going. I enjoyed the artwork, and I haven't read the last few story arcs before this one. Before the Red Hulk one, Planet Red Hulk one. So, I think for now I'm going to keep it, and at least for the story arc, because it's very interesting, beautiful artwork, and the same artwork we see here on the cover is what's inside, which I always like that. I always like when the artists that do the actual book do the covers as well. A lot of times you get this really cool cover and then the artwork inside totally sucks, which happened on Hulk, on this particular Hulk comic a few story arcs ago. Okay, next up is the Red Skull Incarnate, number 1 of 5. This is a limited series run by Marvel. I kind of heard about this before it came out, so I've been keeping my eye out on it. I've seen artwork from inside and the covers as well, and it seemed really interesting. Now, first up, I don't think they've ever done the actual a miniseries that showed you Red Skull and how he became Red Skull. If they had, I haven't heard of it, but they definitely haven't done it like this. I looked in here before I picked it up, and I was absolutely blown away by what I was seeing. So I'm kind of a history buff. So first of all, the artwork is very unique. It's very detailed, but it has a real kind of old world look to it. So when you're looking at the artwork, it looks as if you're reading about pre-World War II type story. With that said, the artwork is still modern. I mean, it looks very detailed. It's not retro or anything like that. It's just has a real nice look to it, similar to this cover here. Obviously, this cover almost looks like a propaganda poster from World War II, which is what all the covers are going to be. So the artwork inside is not that. It's very detailed, but it just has a kind of an aged look to it, which really brings the feel of the story alive. And when I say this is the story of Red Skull, I mean from the very beginning. This actual comic shows him as a little kid. Red Skull is a little kid in, I believe, Germany. I haven't read it yet, so I shouldn't say where he's from, but it seemed like it was Germany. And it shows how he was being raised. And right from the first few pages, I could see exactly where this was going. So I'm definitely going to do a review on this here very soon. But I'm very excited about this limited series. And from what I've seen so far, I definitely will be recommending this. Very excited about that. Okay, next up is a comic that actually came out like last week. I threw it in my saver because it was pulled for me, but I don't read Uncanny X-Men right now, so I wasn't sure why it was thrown in there, but I thought the cover work was really cool. But I thought, you know what, I noticed that inside the artwork was really good, and it was involving Hope Summers, and I of course read the Generation Hope ongoing series, so I'm a fan of Hope Summers, so I wanted to figure out if it was a one-shot or if it was a story arc, or what I felt I have to commit to a few of these issues. But what I found out is no, it is a one-shot. You can't tell. It would have been great if it was just put out as a one-shot. But my friend at Comic Book Store who read it said, yeah, it's just a one-shot issue about why Wolverine has issues with Hope Summers, and he finally tells her. So I thought, okay, well then I definitely have to pick it up. And last is a comic that I picked up already, but I didn't expect there to be any extras. So I picked up here at the end, back here is the bag it came in. Now I have a sealed bag, but I picked up this extra one because he happened to have more in, and there's only a few left. But I thought, I'll get an extra one, that way I can open it and have this cover and check it out, because I already read it in the blank cover issue. But I thought this would be cool to have one that I could read again and display, but still have the sealed one. So I picked up the extra because Death of Spiderman issue 160 is definitely one of the best single issue comics of the year. Absolutely. Maybe even the last few. So with that said, thanks for watching. If you have any of these comics you'd like me to review, just let me know, and I'll see you next time.